Okay, fantastic. Whew. This is G.I. Joe. Okay, let me get myself in front of the camera here. Hey everybody, we are trying something a little bit new, so there's a few fun technical things to worry about that we haven't had before. Excuse me while I move my monitor so I can actually read the chats and the comments and have you guys swearing at me. Cool. Okay. Yeah, welcome to episode 1 of Some Assembly Required, and I'm joined by got to do this mirror. I'm joined by Bart and Jim, and you guys are in this side of my studio. So say hello, everybody. Awesome. So guys, if you don't know who Bart and Jim are, then I don't know what the hell. No, kidding. If you guys don't know who Bart and Jim are, Bart Simon is an avid G.I. Joe collector. He's got quite an awesome collection, but actually while he's here is because he's an avid customizer. So he does a lot of crazy customs. I mean, pretty much anything. He's the only guy I know that's done like knights and I mean, I'm going to let him speak for himself just now, but he just does incredible stuff, and it's really quite imaginative. And I mean, he did a He-Man or a Lino the other day, which I thought was really cool. But yeah, both He-Man and Lino, just making sure I was looking at the right guys. And then we got Jim Godfrey, who a lot of you guys, or if you guys are longtime fans of G.I. Joe book, you all know Jim because he did that awesome bit at Ende custom that was at Joe Fest that we brought with us to Joe Fest, Joe Con, and it won a prize, and it's really, really amazing. And then he did some really great stuff for us, and then he keeps on doing really awesome stuff and then forcing me to up my game. So yeah, so we've been wanting to share our knowledge with you guys, the fans of the world. And sort of show you some of the tips and tricks that we use, share some advice. We've been wanting to do this for a very long time, I think almost a year now, maybe 2 years. We've had offers from other channels to have us on, and then those channels have never contacted us, probably because they just got busy. It's not because of anything funny or dramatic or whatever. But yeah, so here we are. So this is where we're going to start with... Okay, the first thing is, gentlemen, do you have any of your toys or customs or anything around you at the moment? Maybe you want to just do a bit of a show off. I know I want to show off some, well, I don't really have much to show off in the way of G.I. Joe customs, but Bart, I know that you had some stuff that you wanted to show off, just so that our viewers know kind of the caliber of what they're getting into and what kind of, stuff they can expect from the channel. Guys, this is all on the seat of our pants, by the way. This is not scripted, nothing. I will create a structure as we start going. So, live stream. Ooh. Okay, cool. So, I will, so, the best way I think I can do this, hopefully, is I've got a bunch of miniatures. Let's see if the camera picks them up. So, I've been doing a lot of these little buggers. These little miniatures from Wargaming. Let's see if I can get a bit of focus on that. Okay, well, I really can't. And then there's the whole mirror aspect. This is quite a lot of fun. I'm enjoying this. I don't want to touch my phone right now. Anyway, so I've been doing a lot of miniature type stuff, and I do a lot of Gundam model kits. That one is not reachable. This one will be. Give me 2 seconds. So. I do a lot, yeah, like I said, I do a lot of the Gundam things. So I got like mobile suits coming out the yin yang, and I like to do a lot of like weathering and that kind of stuff, and sometimes the occasional custom paint job. And I'm a big mobile suit Gundam fanboy. Oh, look, a spider web. Anyway, so yeah, that's the kind of stuff I like to do, and then that's kind of where I hope that I can, bring some of my expertise from the sort of painting and airbrushing side. I'm going to pick up my camera quickly. I don't want to move it too dramatically. Sorry, there is a light in the way, but this light's going to help me because that is my little airbrushing station. And you can see there's a whole bunch of stuff on the racks. I've got a C-ray there just for luck. And yeah, so that's kind of my spiel at the moment. I mean, I hope I'm not understating anything. But yeah, um, Jim, yeah, you do a lot of like really cool stuff. I know that you got some 1 to 6 scale stuff that you've been doing as well. Hmm. Yeah, because I mean, they're like this big, you know. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, because sometimes it's also got like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a mixed material. Sometimes you got like hard materials mixed with like softer materials, and then it also kind of messes up the game a bit. Uh, Jimmy, I just want to just check something. The guys are saying they can't hear you for some reason, so I'm just going to see if I can get into that. But yeah, so Jim's just saying like the bugger with it is that you get you get a lot of like different materials, and then sometimes the rubber stuff does tend to like mess it up a bit. Sorry. Hi guys. Yeah, this is like I said, we're on the seat of our pants at the moment here, so I'm just gonna hang Storm Shadow here a little bit. Just want to just see if there's for some reason why there isn't um, window capture method. Yeah, that's weird. It should be getting audio from Jim. Bart, cool. Can you guys hear Bart? You're only getting my audio. Oh bugger. Okay, let me see if I can stream my the video capture device has got audio. Let me see if that works. Testing, guys. Sound off. In the UK. Anybody hear that? I hope. Stream that to. I can do it. Thank you. Thank you, guys. So sorry, guys. Like I said, we just trying to like. I'm trying to figure this all out as we're going. I didn't realize audio was going to actually be an issue. That was the last thing I thought would be a problem, but turns out I was wrong. Just want to see if the video capture device is on, the desktop audio is on. Done mixing that to mono. All of audio monitor, monitor and output. See if that works. Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, you guys just talk, and then I'm sure stuff will come through. So, I hope at some point. Hopefully. Otherwise, what I might actually do is, I might actually do this and take my headphones out and put us on our big audio and see if that changes anything. But now I can't hear any all. Let's see. Maybe we are lucky. Okay, and then I should be getting audio from you guys. Settings. Audio and video. Audio. That could be the problem. Let's try that. Testing. No. Testing. Microsoft. Yeah, that's fine. Speakers. That's the problem. Okay. Can't hear anybody yet.
is you're not cussing enough. I always find things go better when I throw out a few cuss words.
When you start swearing at him. Yeah, good plan.
Yeah.
I think everybody can kind of hear you now. Artback's like, show us some toys. Okay, so everybody in YouTube land, can you now hear Jim and Bart?
Everybody
Hello.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm waiting for that. Okay. Okay, cool.
Anybody?
Somebody's gonna say something. How do we sound? Yay! Chasing Eddies, you have done it, Paul. Yes! Okay, cool. A simple yes, we can hear everybody would be fine because, but like, I'm done with this. This is cool. Okay. Welcome to episode 1 of Some Assembly Required. The name is not implied. It is true. It's everything is Some Assembly Required. At least I don't have to wear the headphones. I don't look like an operator in the Hoth base in Echo base. So this is good news. Okay, guys, let's try this again. That is Bart. I gotta get better at this. That is Jim. And we all love G.I. Joes. We all love toys, actually. And but we're those crazy kids that used to paint the damn things. You know, like I don't have my childhood G.I. Joe collection because, well, my older friend who was also a G.I. Joe fan decided to take his apart, start making these cool customs. And this was what happened is when Street Fighter toys came out, they used to have so many great parts. So we used to take that stuff apart and make these epic customs. And I'm actually going to show you one in a second, and I'm going to get it while the other two gentlemen are introducing themselves. But Bart does a lot of crazy customs, as I mentioned earlier. Some of my favorites have been like Lino, to mention one. But he's always got like a lot of like very cool stuff, like cowboys and knights and all that kind of mad stuff. And then we got Jim, who did the epic Bitter Ender that went to Joe Fest with us, to JoeCon with us. How do I make the same mistake twice? It's like, I'm like special, you know? And that took second place, and it's a beautiful, beautiful toy. I must say, when I went to send it away, it was like, you know, when I was giving it to my friend to put it in the DHL box, I was like, no, you can't have it. But anyway, alas, I had to let it go, and it's a fantastic toy. And that's just the tip of the iceberg with Jim's Customs. He does really great detail on his figures, and he has a really good way of realizing a character's personality in the toy. I've got an art back that was made by Jim. It's still one of my favorite toys, and it's one of my favorite Joes, and especially that one he made me a Tiger Force art back that makes all the other Tiger Force art backs look like, you know, Grandpa got a weird sweater for Christmas. But anyway, I'm going to let the gentlemen introduce themselves. Guys, we'll start with Bart, because he's just at the top of the screen, and then we'll go down to the bottom of the screen. And I'm going to get one of those customs from my childhood just to show you where all of this madness started. Cool.
Hello, everyone. So what I like to do is take two vehicles that shouldn't go together, cut them up, put them together. Whenever I'm not doing that, I just like to maybe do some repaints or kit bash some figures. I actually got a question for you guys listening out there, or I guess I should say watching. I got some projects where I could do a big mashup, a smallish playset, or a conversion, taking a Joe vehicle, converting it hopefully to a 6-inch figure vehicle, and I think that was it. So while we're doing this, I'm not sure how often we're going to do it, but each show do a little bit more work on that project so you guys can just see how I do it. In all honesty, I just look at the parts I have, see what crazy thing I can make out of it. What parts I don't have, I usually just get off of eBay. The projects I have now, I got maybe 50% or so of the parts I need to do everything, aside from the simple repaint. So I'll put it out there to you guys, what you want me to work on, and then we'll go from there. If you got any questions, let me know, and I'll turn it over to Jim.
Cool.
Hello, world. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, so I guess I kind of introduced myself on episode 100 of Joe Bird.
Yes,
talk
that's right,
customizing.
yeah.
So I had a history with Warhammer 40k. That's basically where I started from. That's like 30 years ago.
Wow.
And took a huge sabbatical of maybe 20 years, and then I'm talking 6 years ago, I sort of decided to get back into painting and started with 1/18 scale GI Joes. And what really brought me back into the fold of loving these again is the little nature blood. Let's see.
Oh, that looks great.
Yeah.
Was the Joe Customs podcast.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh,
In
Joe
particular,
Customs,
there's
yeah.
Yeah, so they used to have a sort of round table, didn't they?
Mm.
Where they'd
Yeah.
get, I don't know how many, 4, 5, 6, maybe more of them together, and they'd sort of sit around, chew the fat. But in the middle of that sort of banter, they'd fly out lots of tips and techniques and sort of little hints, and that helped me a lot as a kind of beginner back into the hobby. So I'm hoping this little project that we've got going on can do the same for people that sort of either starting out or at any level, I guess. You're never really too far into the hobby to stop picking up little hints and tips that kind of advance your skills, push you further. I mean, I was listening to a guy who works for the Games Workshop Army Painters team.
Yeah.
And to get to that role, you've got to be a fantastic painter to start with.
Yeah.
He said once he started within that studio that his skill level then skyrocketed because they're interacting with all these guys and they just sort of chip in with these tiny little hints that just you're not really thought about but suddenly become so obvious. So hopefully, us three together, we can sort of help each other out and help people out there who sort of maybe want to start or just want to sort of get better.
Oh, dude, and that's the thing, right? That's the whole point of this. Because I mean, let me just show you. This is what 12-year-old. This is my friend. He was 13 years old at the time when he did this. This is like This was my old Crimson God Elite or oopsie.
Immortal.
He's got ninja kicking action as well. Anyway, so he put this skull thing on his head, and this is one of the more mild customs. But we didn't have anybody that told us how to do this stuff. We actually figured out everything by ourselves, how to paint, what works, what doesn't, what paints you shouldn't put on top of each other. I mean, model shops have always been these, at least here in South Africa, have always been these places where they're full of model kits and trains and things, but nobody there goes, oh, we're gonna do a weekend session where everybody sits down and paints stuff or whatever. It's always this old, this sort of purview of the older guys, oh, this is our secret knowledge, oh, you must learn it through trial and error. And I really hate that. I really think a rising tide floats all boats, and I think that's the case here. I would like us to take all of our skills together and just really help each other do stuff, and not just help each other here, but everybody, those guys in the chat box, and all the people that want to follow us and stuff. And that's why I think with the show going forward, one of the things I want to do is I want to go, and I'm going to do it now. Guys, how many of you customize your Joes, or how many of you guys would like to do a small paint tweak on your G.I. Joes but are too scared to do it? Let me know now in the comments, and we'll see if we can help you with that. And while you're figuring that out, and somebody mentioned 3D printing. Now I'm going to show you something that's pretty secret, and I can't show it for too long, okay? So because I'm going to get into trouble. But I can show it for a whole 2 seconds just to tease people. I have started I haven't started. I'm part of a company that has started. I'm one of the. Is it partner? Is the correct word? A friend of mine's got a toy business that he started up. I've got my imprint in the toy business. One of the things that we're doing is G.I. Joe parts and whatever. But then the other side of it is I am doing small figurines. So this guy, for example, that is a 3D printed figure, and I've been doing some paint work on him already. And that's actually from one of the games I'm working on, so I can't show too much of this. Okay, so I'm just going to hide him now, boom, okay, so, that happens, and he's just a bit bigger than a G.I. Joe, okay, so, if you take a modern era figure, and I had a Cobra Commander here, If you take a modern era Cobra Commander, you can see he's just a little bit bigger than Coco. Sorry, I am trying to keep it a little bit obscure. So anyway, so that's something that's totally happening.
Would you say that's like Sergeant Savage size?
Yeah, I would say it's pretty much on par with Sergeant Savage size. Or, Leatherneck Gung Ho 50th anniversary size. But yeah, so one of the big things that I want to do involves this guy, for example. Good old classified Duke. Yeah! Damn, I gotta get better at this. He's got a weird backpack, and it's actually the one thing I don't like about this toy. It's like I really appreciate that they went out of their way to do this cool backpack that is sort of reminiscent of the original. But I really hate that the water canteens are here because doesn't make any sense to me. I always feel like you're going to want to put your canteens at the bottom because it's easier, to reach around, if you need to, as opposed to like, I'm thirsty. Anyway, but it got me thinking of like, what does this toy need? And I'm like, it needs a jetpack. So I'm working on something called The Lunge, and you guys can check it out on our other live streams where I've already done some of the concept art. That's gone into production, by the way. And so, like, I'm looking forward to in the future on this channel, these three gentlemen, because I'm seeing myself on the screen, are going to have a lunge to paint up, and I kind of want to do that as like a bit of a weird tutorial. So when you guys get your own lunges to do, then we can help you out with that. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, so that was the thing. That's one of the things that I want to go into. One of the other things is, once again, I'm going to use Duke. One of the best things about this classified line, actually, is that they don't have any washes on them. So there's no like paint wash. The painting detail is like mildly okay. And for those of you guys who really want to like up that, want to take that to the next level, we want to help you get there. We want to like save you some effort where we can actually show you like what is the best paint to use for this, what is the best type of stuff, because guys are going to go out there and they're going to go and buy like the Tamiya wash, for example, the panel liner, which is great, but it's not going to be that great on this toy. Okay, it's gonna it's not going to be as resistant to you handling it and stuff. So that's the kind of advice that we want to like help to dispense and get out there. And so bear with us. I just want to just check in the chat box and see. Don't you talk bad about Duke. Duke is my baby, dude. I love Duke. As an adult, I've grown to like Duke quite a lot, whereas as a kid I was very much a Flint guy. Now I'm both a Flint and a Duke guy. I think they're both cool. I'm actually more, and I used to be a Scarlet guy, but now I'm a Lady J guy. I'm like full on Lady J guy now. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
On that backpack, I don't know if you remember my Falcon I did. I cut those canteens off.
Yeah.
I glued them down towards the bottom. That backpack takes like super glue real well.
There you go. You see, like Bart is our Dangerous Dave. He will do all of the crazy stuff on his toys that people like myself are too scared of. Now, so like what I was thinking of is, and I'm talking a lot here, damn. I think what we need to do as like some assembly required is we're going to grab like a toy or something, not on today's episode. This is what I want to sort of aim for on the next episode. But I want to take like a simple figure, and this is a bit of a spoiler alert. I'm going to take like this dude, for example. And if you look at the back, he's got this cool sword, and he's got the quiver for the bow and arrow. But he also comes with a grappling hook and this, oh shit, I can't believe I've forgotten the name now. It's a Kusari Gama, but actually, technically this is a Kama. But I want them to actually go onto the backpack so that it's sort of reminiscent of the original Storm Shadow. So that's like a small mod that that's a small mod that I'd like to do and maybe share with you guys and show you how I did it. Because I think it's just going to take a few simple tools, like a pin vise, a hand drill, and some styrene plastic, and a little touch of paint here and there, and a little bit of glue, and I think, boom, should get it in here. And now that I know that super glue works really well in it, thanks to Bart, I can actually make the backpack the way I want it to, to accommodate those weapons. So that's the kind of stuff we want to show you. But I mean, if you see things and you want to know how to do them, guys, ask us, because that's the whole point. It's going to be like a Q&A of customizing, and if we don't know, we will ask somebody else. And I want to get other guests in here. I do want to get like other toy customizers and whatever to come and join us, so that we can also like you know, scratch their heads for information, so to speak. Cool. So, okay, I just want to just check. Gaz, I have a few things to print right now. Okay, so that's Renegade Biker, he's chatting. Brother Malachi, echo's pretty bad. Sorry, Malachi. We are in a very unique situation with regards to our sound requirement at the moment. I'm going to sort that out. Like I said, this is some assembly required. Magnificent Kaboom said, assemble this with Berg Force. Nice. Looking forward to it. What about Zombie Outback? What about Zombie Outback? I'll get onto that now. I just feel like I'm hogging too much of the airtime here. So, another thing, and I'm going to put Jim on the spotlight here. Another thing I'm really hoping to get out of all of this is I want to make terrain. I want to make like diorama pieces. Not necessarily diorama pieces, but like environmental play sets. And why are those kind of things cool? Well, for figure photography, that kind of stuff's great. For toy photography, for playing with your toys, you know, displaying your toys and stuff. And Jim is one of the best dudes. I mean, look at that, guys. Look at that.
Like this lady.
So sexy. Do you guys want to know how to make that? Because yeah.
Or smaller
They're
versions.
working on this.
Ooh, what's that, Bart? Oh wow.
Some Star Wars junk I found at a garage sale, so I plan on making that into a playset.
Cool. You see?
Yeah.
So now we got two different approaches to doing the same thing. And yeah, sorry, Jim, you wanted to say something?
I was going to say, yeah, I tried to sort of give a tutorial via Facebook, didn't I, on the Joe Berg site.
Yeah.
You realise, like you were saying earlier about back in the old days, it was hard to sort of learn technique. You'd get bits in sort of magazines and books, and there'd be a short phrase describing an image, and that was all you had. Was you know, it'd be like, hey, apply this here. It'd be like, apply what, where, how. It's nowadays we've got this multimedia system where we can actually show you, video it, you can talk about it, you can ask questions. So I think, yeah, this is a better format for helping people in tutorials, basically, than what we used to struggle with.
You know, the best way I learned was messing stuff up.
Yeah, I agree with that. Making mistakes has been one of the best teachers in model building. I'm always going to refer to it as model building because I haven't done nearly as many customs as either of you. But I've built a lot of Gundam kits and I've built a lot of like model kits in my time. And you know, the refreshing thing is, and I want people to know this, you're still going to make mistakes, but you're just I find the difference between a good model builder or a good modeler and an inexperienced modeler. So not a bad modeler per se, but the difference between an experienced modeler and an inexperienced modeler is that an inexperienced modeler knows how to deal with mistakes better than an inexperienced one, and like
how to hide them,
or how to hide it better. Yeah, exactly. And you know, a more experienced kit builder, for example, will be able to anticipate mistakes or anticipate issues that an inexperienced modeler wouldn't get, and obviously because that's why they called an inexperienced modeler, right? But I mean something simple like clear code, and I see this mistake a lot with people. Like a lot of guys do this, and I mean I've done this. We did this back in this time in the good old days of painting up our 92 GI Joes or 1990s GI Joes and everything else that unfortunately went into the fodder box. But we used to use Tamiya clear spray to make them look shiny. But the problem is that the Tamiya clear spray that we had was an acrylic spray paint. Well, not acrylic, it was like a lacquer kind of spray paint. And it didn't really want to work with the acrylic paint that we had put on. And it's not because the acrylic paint and lacquer paints don't mesh well. It's just because acrylic paint needs to cure. It doesn't just dry. So it takes like 24 hours for it to, well, it takes less than an hour to dry. But it can take up to about a week to cure. And when it's cured, it's hard. It's got like a hard shell and it's protected. It's completely degassed. So like all the fumes that exist in the paint go out. And you can tell this because when you've freshly painted a toy or something with a Tamiya acrylic paint, which is not a true acrylic, and I'll get into all of those technical things as we go through these shows. But when you smell it, you won't be able to smell the paint anymore, and that's how you know it's sort of degassed. And this varies from region to region. So if you're in a dry area, it dries quicker. If you're in a more humid, cold area, it takes longer to dry. There are ways around this. I'll show you if other people don't know. But then we used to spray this clear coat over that, and that hadn't degassed. So the clear coat never settled. So it's always sticky and it's gross. And so we always had this one Joe like that we had done that he's like super cool, but nobody wants to touch him because he's like gross.
Or it gets fuzz on him from all the dust.
Oh yeah, no, it's just it's icky. So yeah, Outback Stew wants to know if you've made any Halo stuff.
I have not.
I did a Halo head. That's as far as it got. It was is it the ODSD Shock Troopers?
Oh, cool.
I might.
Was that at 1 to 18 scale?
About somewhere. I haven't done a body for it.
Also, like, one of the other things that I'm just starting to see a lot of, and like, well, you're getting that, is like, there's a lot of great toys and stuff coming out, and the 1 to 12 scale that we're building and that a lot of guys are buying now, the 6-inch toys. There's a lot of that's happening at the moment, and I think that's one of the things that's really exciting about the classified line is that there are so many toys in the same scale that you can actually bring a lot of stuff and play together. It would be great if it's 4-inch, but the reality is that it's not. And so, like, I look at a lot of this stuff and I kind of think, well, I would get that if only that paint job was better. You know what I mean? Or yeah. I'll look at something and be like, oh, damn, that's really, really awesome. How can I make that better? And now that I've sort of dipped my toes into the 6-inch side of things, that's something I definitely want to do. And especially with like the Joes, because like my roadblock, for example, he's got a bit of paint shifting, and I want to fix that, but I want to fix that on camera with you guys, you know, so you guys can see what I'm doing and see how I do it, and maybe actually give me a better way of doing it, because just now I do it wrong, because that's possible. So yeah. Christopher Smotherman, I hope I pronounced that correctly. He was in 5th grade in 1984, and his friend brought a Storm Shadow to school, painted red. It was stunning and just not something anyone did, and I never could until now, and that's all changed. So, yeah, it's funny how something like that happens. I mean, Bart, why do you customize toys? I mean, what is the reason?
Bart's doing it now.
I am. In the beginning, or why I do it now?
Both, actually. Like, what got you started? Why did you think you needed to put paint on one of your toys one day? Like,
well, I guess back in the 80s, it started with, hey, this guy comes apart. So I took the screw out, had a bunch of either doubles or traded people for other figures, and just whatever parts looked like they went together, that was my customizing. Fast forward, I don't know, 20 years or so. I've been customizing now for about 20 years, so yeah, that's about right. It was, what parts could I put together? Okay, but now I really want to put these arms on this guy, and I'm talking over in here. But the colors didn't match. So I'm like, well, screw it. I got Tester's paint from working on this car model. Well, let me just slap a little paint on it. And then from there, it just kind of grew into, well, now I don't have to find parts that match. I can just make my own parts. And as I did that, I learned what paints I liked, what paints didn't work, dry times, watching the humidity. If it's a dirty figure, clean the hell out of it. And as I started making more, I realized that I could do it. I guess you could say that nothing was impossible, because if I just tried and I screwed up, well, I could always try again or take that figure apart and start over. Vehicles, I just started, spray painting them and, adding a little details here or there, peel the stickers off, put them back on kind of thing. And that grew into, well, I really like the front end of this vehicle. I like the back end of this one. Well, what if I cut them in half and just glue them together and do that? Trial and error, hey, I didn't cut the seams correctly. There's a little bit of a gap in there. Now what do I do? Well, I started filling it with super glue because I had super glue. Super glue will fill the holes, sand it down. Well, the super glue gets kind of chunky when it dries, so now what do? Well, I put more super glue on. Then I started thinking, well, I could just go to the auto parts store, get some Bondo to fix cars with, slap that on there, see what happens, and then just try different things and find what works for me. And now, why do I do it? I guess in a way it's kind of mindless therapy. My other hobbies I either can't do or they're too expensive to do right now. This I can just come home, eat dinner, watch TV with the wife for a little bit, go in the workshop, throw the computer on, check my emails. While I'm doing that, put some music on or Netflix or something and just grab a figure or a vehicle or something and just put some time into it. Even if I don't accomplish much, it's just mindless relaxation that I don't have to think about all the other bull crap that's going on in my life. And then when I'm done, I have a product I'm happy with. I can look back and say, hey, I did this. And then I share it with you guys. And I've been accused of being a braggart before, and it's not that. I want people to see that what I've done, that they can do. Because I don't find myself to be any more exceptional than anybody else out there. I feel like if I can do it, you can do it. Here, look at what I did. If you have any questions on how I did this, ask me. I'll be more than happy to tell you all my secrets and help you make one yourself. From time to time, I get people say, hey, I really like that. Can I hire you to do that as a commission or something or whatever? And before I agree to any of that, I say, well, here's how I did it. I'll be more than happy to walk you through the process. And sometimes they're cool with that. Other times they're like, I'd just rather pay you money. And then at that, I undersell. I usually lose my ass on a project because I'd rather that person have something they like than me go, well, I put $20 into that, but I made $300 kind of thing, Yeah. So I do it to spread the love, to just say, hey, if I can do it, you can do it kind of thing. And to me, that's also relaxing in a way with my customs. So I hope that kind of answers the question.
It does, actually. It does. And before we get into Jim, Cujo says, Jim's in the house.
Cujo, how are you, babe?
Yeah. Outback Stew asks us, what is your best work or the one you are most proud of? Yeah. Yeah, okay. And then Christopher's also like, he... also, of course, thank you for the content. I'll be subscribing and hanging out, but I really appreciate the painting advice. And heck, just any ideas you have, that's great. So that's what he says. Jim, before I start answering questions and stuff, Jim, what got you into all of this madness? Why did you start I know that you did some Warhammer stuff and whatevers, and then you did your Major Blood because you got into that you were on the Joe Customs forum. But then I've seen some mad stuff. I mean, you're always jumping scales. So what's that about? Why did you go from 3/4 inch modern era Joes to miniatures and then all of a sudden 6-inch Joes? I
don't know. It's just where the inspiration takes you. I've heard it described as being a hobby butterfly. You know, where you flutter from one project to the next, and it's I don't know. I guess it's when you see something cool that somebody else has done. That's often when I get taken from one scale to another.
Okay.
Or it can be I went back to Warhammer because I got in touch with my old mate from school. I'd seen him for 30 years. He just left the Navy, and he's the guy that got me into Warhammer. We hooked up again, and we started, he wanted to start playing again. So that's when I started.
Nice, dude.
Painting miniatures again. And then the 1 to 6 stuff, I don't know, it's just, I've kind of always wanted to do 1 to 6. All those kind of, the dragon models and, the other companies that make them, but they always seem so hard to describe.
Unapproachable.
1 to 6 on a shelf.
Yeah.
Just look way more impressive than 1 to 8. You know, recently when I started making these major bloods at 1:6, you know, I think they're some of my best work. There you go, Stu. That's your answer for that.
Yeah.
But they don't seem to get as much traction from people who sort of have liked my 1:18 stuff. But I just think on the shelf they're just unbelievable. Well, not sort of blowing me a trumpet, but I mean just the scale. It's just, you know, like this guy, my most recent one. I'm in love with it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
Hold him a bit in the light there, dude, because he's like stalking us.
Sorry.
No, it's cool, man. Oh wow, yeah. No, he's so cool.
It's like lifelike.
Yeah, that's the thing with this scale.
Good pose as well, dude.
A little fella, like Michelle. I love the scale. Trouble is with 1:6, it is so expensive. You know, I was trying to find the perfect light machine gun for him. I wanted an RPD, but it was, I think it was for the gun, it was like 30 quid. So I ended up finding this, it's a PKP, which is like the modern version of a PKM.
Yeah.
But to make it look Vietnam era, I sort of changed the carrying handle to stop wood. Try to make it look as much like a PKM as possible.
No, dude,
it's a stogie.
A lovely scale.
It's stunning here. Like there's an allure to 1:6 scale figures. I mean, Stephen always calls me the Dalai Lama. But I was with my folks once on the few holidays that we actually used to go on when I was really small, and on our way back they stopped at some weird little antique store on the side of the road, and we went inside, and a large portion of that antique store was all 1:8 or what is it 1:6 scale. So they're all 12-inch figures. I think they were all actually technically G.I. Joes and Action Force toys, or Action Man actually, and then all of the sort of stuff that came with it, because I know that at the time there was like a lot of like World War II stuff made for that, and this whole place was full of these like 1:12 scale like World War II soldiers and things, and that blew my mind, and that has always stuck with me because I was always like, wow, that's incredible. I mean, that's like Bobby's hardcore, uncle or something. and then like fast forward, I mean, I saw Sideshow started doing this stuff, and then I was really intrigued, and I think, and I gotta say, like, because of Bart's like tinkering with the 1:6 scale stuff, I mean 1:6 scale stuff, I'm very keen on just doing a little tweak here and there on some of my Sideshow guys, because I'm never gonna sell them. So, but there are things I want to do, but I'm scared of doing them, and so I'm hoping I can get some advice from you, Jim, like as we go forward with that. And I'm hoping there are some guys out there who want to fix that for themselves as well. Another thing I've got, and it's been sitting with me for a while, is I've got a Storm Shadow Sideshow statue. And I mean, out of the box, it's amazing. It's really great. But I would love to tweak it a bit because I actually feel like the weathering is too much. So that's something I'd love to do to that. But anyway, let me answer that question that came through, and then give Bart a chance to answer that. What is my favorite or the best one that I've done? So a lot of the times it's like the most recent kit that you've done. I don't know about you guys, but I always I go through these phases where I'll build a kit and I'll be like, yes, I'm happy with it, and then it kind of sits for a while, and then I get excited about something else, and then I build that. I go like full tilt into that. So at the moment, the thing that I've gone like full tilt into is a real grade Sasabi from Gundam, which is looking pretty good. I don't want to pull it down and put it in front of camera right now because I just don't want to mess it up. But that I've done a lot of work on. I've done a lot of customizing on that, and I was very scared of doing it because it's quite an expensive kit, and I bought it like almost 2 years ago. And then I'm building a Gundam Sandrock sort of in between that as like practice, because I've got some professional work coming my way, professional modeling work that I got to do. And I'm kind of using that as practice because I've set such a high bar with the Sasabi, but the problem is I've been like doing it painfully slowly. But it's like, it's been this meticulous process. So like once it's done, like it's going to be like dusted and airbrushed and all that stuff and put into like a box because I'm too scared of touching that ever again. So I'd say that's kind of my best one right now, but it's not really fair because it's not finished. So I think the best thing I've done recently is I did a miniature for Games Workshop. It's called a Putrid Blight King. It's a lot of it's a Blight Lord. Anyway, I'm really digging that because every time I show that to people, people think that I'm showing them a shot from the catalog. So yay! It's always cool to be compared to the heavy metal crew. Not that I'm not that good at all. I'm not saying, but like that I'm like heavy metal. But like people look at them and they go, oh okay, I can see, whatever. So that's pretty cool, I suppose. And you bought.
How do you cope with having your older stuff on the shelf, Paulie?
How do I?
I mean, how do you cope with having your older stuff on the shelf? You look at it and sort of see it as part of your progression, or do you look at it and think, right, so. So
I used to have it like on my old setup. I used to have it on a shelf in front of me, and it used to sort of always look at me like judging me, like going, "Why didn't you paint us better?" But the nice thing is like it's always like at a distance, So if there are any mistakes, I forget about them over time, and then I don't see them because it's at a distance. And then I kind of will walk into my room one day and I'll be like, "Oh wow, I really did that easy 8. Like I'm really happy with how that came out." And then like. What often happens is I have to move things around. Like I've recently just redone the studio, just moved shelving and things around. And then I picked it up and I was like, okay, that's not a bad job, but I can see the room for improvement. So yeah, it's kind of a progression thing. And I also try to not get myself too hooked up on it. Like I look at it and I kind of accept that was the best I could do then. And it's kind of like a weird memento mori because I look at that kit and I go, whatever I do now has to be better than that. Like, I don't know if you guys ever have that. Like,
oh, yeah.
Everything's got to be better. Yeah.
Especially if it's something I'll do more than once.
Yeah.
What's that, Bob?
I said if it's something I'll do more than once, like if I make something, I'm like, I really like that, I want another one. I don't tend to do them the same way twice because, well, I screwed this up. Let me fix that on the next one and just hopefully it turns out better.
Tim Baker asks, and I'm not sure who he's referring to, if he's referring to me, Jim, or Bart, but he asks if any of us, if we sell any of the things that we make. So please let me know if you do sell anything you can make. I'd greatly appreciate it, brother. I'm tricky like that. I think I would sell my minis and stuff pretty easily because I really like them a lot. But I think a lot of other people out there would really like get a lot of joy out of that. If I ever did G.I. Joe customs, I personally wouldn't sell mine because I can't get G.I. Joe stuff enough to have enough photo pods to actually sell my own. But I'm sure Bart does, and I'm sure Jim would do commissions and stuff like that for you totally. I'm sure his wife would be happy if you sold a few, if you bought a few. I
don't do commissions anymore.
Oh no!
I've decided to give up on them. Yeah, a while back, I realised that I look back through my catalogue of stuff sort of online, and it's like I haven't got 70% of it anymore. It's been either sold, gifted, or maybe returned to back into parts in the boxes. So it's like the stuff that I make now, I'm reticent to let go of it. And it's like that thing that every custom you make, I always want to use the best parts I've got. And so, I don't want to see it leaving the house anymore.
Yeah, you get kind of precious about that. It's the same thing with if you do artwork and stuff, like you do. Like I'm reticent to sell my sketches and like my sketchbooks because I have a lot of connection to them. But if somebody like asked me to do like a hand-drawn commission and we agreed on a price, I would happily sell it because I can scan it in still and I can still digitally color it and do whatever I want with it. But at least I own, at least I still have the after image of it, if that makes sense. But with a toy, with something physical like a model kit or whatever, that's a very tactile experience, and you spend a lot of time aching and pushing yourself to make this thing perfect. That yeah, when it leaves you, it's like a child has left you. I think Bart has got a more wholesale approach to that. But yeah.
Well, there's been a few that, I like to put as much effort as I can into it because somebody's paying me money for these things. But then when I get done with it, I'll have my wife look at it and I'll be like, I really don't want to get rid of this, but like I told the guy I was going to sell it to him. So sometimes I'll either make a second one or I just put it in the mail and it is what it is. But, sometimes I really don't want to sell them after I'm done making them. Just because I've put a lot of time, heart, and soul into it. I'm really happy with it. But hey, somebody pays you money. You made a deal. You got to live up to it.
Yeah. But I guess that's why we're here now doing this. Probably better to teach people or help people to achieve these things on their own.
To achieve greatness. So like so this is what I would like. What I kind of want to do for my project. Over the next few episodes of this, I would like to make some cool backgrounds because I've been looking up a lot of like diorama sets and whatever's on HLJ and Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth et al. And there are some fantastic things out there. There's some fantastic like papercraft stuff out there. And I'm not too excited about spending $28 on a papercraft scenario, papercraft diorama personally. But at the same time, I'm also not so excited about spending $98 on a whole bunch of spacey corridors because that only lends itself to like one thematic approach. So I want to kind of try and like do what you do, Jim, where I make these cool backdrops like you've done. And that's something I'd like to do going forward, especially for my classified Joes. I recently got my hands on a camera and I want to take better shots of my toys, and I want to tell stories with those shots, and obviously I want to carry on with the play motion thing, but I want to also add my own sort of twist to the play motion, and especially now because it's so tricky to sort of get out sometimes with everything that's going on, and you never know if like a second lockdown's coming. I don't want to have that like stand in the way of me wanting to make stuff, so I want to kind of have like sets that I make up. Plus I just really like having a cool diorama to put my toys on every now and then. I mean, like I'm always forever keeping a handful of toys around me, either in the studio or in my room, and they're always set up in some way, or I've got them on the MCC or something. So that's kind of what I'd like to do.
Yeah, I always think it ups the aesthetic of any toy. Well, nice diorama, great toy that just look absolutely spectacular.
And also like and Bart, like you want to like kind of, you got a big like mishmash of stuff that you want to kind of get done. So you're our wild stallion. I think these episodes are gonna be like, okay, so this is Paul's progress on this, and then today I'm gonna show you some cool painting techniques, and Jim's like, this is his progress on, like, I don't know, he's decided to do a maskless version of Firefly or something, and so I was like, oh, this is his progression on that, and Bart's busy customizing a My Little Pony, which he's gluing jet wings on, because that's what he does, and then he makes it look cool. So that's kind of the thing. Yeah, and also for like our guys in the chat box, like once again, let me throw this out there, and also in the comments section for the guys that are watching this later, because I'm obviously going to check out the comments. What are the kind of tutorials that you want us to show you? What is the kind of stuff that you think you need help with? I know a lot of it's a Google search away, but I mean, I've owned an airbrush for almost 11 years, 12 years now, and I still watch airbrush cleaning tutorials because I'm always convinced that there's one guy out there who's got like the secret, and turns out I did actually find a guy that had that secret, and it's so. What kind of like stuff are you guys keen on? Or are you guys keen on using? I mean, I'm actually pretty surprised that the chat box isn't full of, what paints do you guys use? Why do you use that paint? This paint is better.
I'll tell you, one of the paints I like using a lot. I come from a body shop background. On the managerial side, I don't actually fix the cars, but I like using automotive paint. I can get it from work. I just have some mixed, pay a couple bucks, and I use that when I can. I do use a lot of Tamiya and whatever the hell this crap is. The Army war paints, painter war paint stuff, I like. But the automotive paint I like because it's made for going on cars. Cars have a lot of plastic, like the bumpers and things. So the paint already has
like a primer.
an adhesive promote. Well, sometimes I'll put a primer on. A lot of times I don't if I'm using automotive paint because it already has a hardener in it, so it doesn't take forever to dry. It has an adhesion promoter in it, so it'll stick to plastic rather well. And I can just literally make any color I want. So I often recommend people go into their local auto parts store. You can get a little tube of touch-up paint for a couple bucks. It's going to be really viscous, thick, kind of. Just get some paint thinner, put a couple drops in it till it's like milky consistency, and then you should be able to brush it and not have any problems. If I put it in my airbrush, then I'll thin it a little bit more. But I use a lot of automotive paints just because it saves me a lot of steps of priming and things like that. Now, if I'm using the Tamiya stuff or that Army Builder or whatever that crap was, I'll wash it and then put a little bit of primer on. If I think I'm going to have an issue, some things just won't take primer, some things won't take paint, and you just pray for the best and just make it a display piece. Or I just prime it, throw some paint on, be it an airbrush or paintbrush, because the Tamiya is kind of self-leveling, so it's a little forgiving, and just go from there, see what happens, let it sit overnight, the next day check on it and see how it is. If I don't like it, like a custom I just did, Paul, with the yellow, where I had to strip the yellow off 3 times and redo it. The 4th coat, I just said, F it. It is what it is. It's no longer sticky and tacky, and we'll see if the recipient of that likes it.
I'm sure he will. I've got a feeling he will like it. Guys, that's a bit incognito. We'll reveal more of that later. So the guys in the chat box are saying, I'm seeing a lot of walls. Okay. Breakable walls. So maybe that's a challenge, Jim. Maybe we should look at like trying to make a diorama piece where we can have like a wall, and then it breaks apart, like you know, like a Toy Biz action playset, like, you know, so it's a normal wall, and then it, like, you can put it together, but it can be broken apart. So you, like, ram a hiss in there, like, like, you know, a stunt wall. A stunt wall, I think that's what we'll call it, a stunt wall. I hope I'm getting that right, because the other part of my brain is saying, no, they want something that is like modular. That, like, you know, one part of the wall is like that, and you can merge them together. So, there's that. So, yeah, guys, just let us know. And then also, I saw somebody, like, asking about how to do, like, wooden wall textures and how to do, like, rocky wall textures. So, that's very much in your wheelhouse, Jim. So that's maybe something that, so that's something we have to look at doing.
I've got very, very idiot-proof technique for breaking rock and mud and concrete and stone, brickwork, all the same materials, but it's it's so easy. I remember my 6-year-old son has even done some, so it's that simple.
See?
I cheat with brick walls.
Yeah?
I take Legos, snap some Legos together, grind the dots off the top, brick wall.
See, I personally wouldn't do that because Lego is so damn expensive. So, yeah.
Well, you can get knockoff Legos out of China for like pennies.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, there's a lot of that available here in South Africa as well. But like, but it's a technique. I mean, I was like actually having a similar conversation with people I work with the other day. Chris Mia asked if we have any advice on Citadel Warhammer paints for customizing your action figures. Yeah, that's actually something. Andrew brought up something now as well. So Jim says absolutely Warhammer paints. I also second that. I've actually got some here. So there's some Citadel paint there, right there. Why? Because I've been painting up this other character that I've been doing, and I gotta say, I've tried a lot of different brands. My favorite at the moment for like pure, what I like to call a pure acrylic. In other words, it mixes with water and it cleans with water, and It thins with water, although I wouldn't thin it with water anyway for spraying or anything. But I'd say Citadel and Vallejo the whole way. Bart's just busy sawing something. You guys gonna no, dude. That's what this podcast. That's what this live stream is about. It's that. Okay, I do draw the line with okay, but like that's fine. I can go with that.
Putting up a dead prostitute in his basement.
Yeah, I mean, you just check like a leg or something in the background, and Bart's like, yeah, this is my realistic 1-to-1 Baroness.
What? So.
But yeah, Citadel, most definitely love their stuff. Very, very cool, very fun, and very easy to use. In my experience though, however, I find the metallic stuff to be a little bit annoying. Only because it rubs off quite quickly. So you definitely need to apply the stuff, let it dry properly, and I find giving it like a matte coat or something helps just seal it in and keep it a bit stronger. It does mess up its luster a little bit though, but that's the best way I've found to stop it from like flaking off. It doesn't flake, it's like it just rubs off. It's like, because it's a metallic pigment, it's a little bit bigger. Jim might have some better.
This?
Oh yeah, Pledge.
Floor wax.
Yeah, I used to use it as future floor wax. I have I found another secret. Like there's actually quite a few companies that bottle that and then sell it as like ultimate clear coat. But we'll get into some of those reviews for things as we go through. That's something I also want to do. I want to talk about people's stuff. Okay, Andrew Creech. MC DJ ACDC. Got that right. He's been wanting me to show off this Sky Striker custom I did. And I actually have a bonus on that too. I also have a Eagle Hawk custom that I did that I want to show off to people, because I think a lot of people would get value out of that. So the Sky Striker one is very simple. I've just done it so that you can like move the wings without having to deploy the landing gear, which is like perfect, because the fact that it goes into full maneuver mode with the landing gear down has always baffled me. I don't know why Hasbro can never just do that differently. And then the Eagle Hawk, the biggest issue with the Eagle Hawk that I have is that there's nothing to keep the Joes in the Eagle Hawk. So like if you got modern era figures and you pop them in the Eagle Hawk, and I'm specifically referring to the Eagle Hawk, I've done like a whole back peg thing for them, and I've done a whole different winch system for the Eagle Hawk. So that's something I'll show you guys as well. I'll show you guys how I did that. So there's a lot. I mean, the fact that we've just mostly spent an hour talking rubbish about, you know, building toys shows you that, you know, we like this stuff. So, Jim, you wanted to say something.
I was just adding to the use of the Citadel paints. I'd always use them with the Lady Medium. I mean, I only really discovered that 12 months ago, and it's just I was thinning it with water all this time, and it's just as soon as you add some medium to it, it changes the consistency of the paint.
I never use water.
Really?
No.
I like this other stuff. I like this stuff. It's Vallejo's Glaze Medium. It's a little bit different to the Lamian Medium or Lamian Medium. And I will always consistently shake paint bottles if they're in my hand. Sorry, it's a thing. But yeah, this also does something similar to Lamian Medium. It's actually just weirdly thinner. But yeah, that's good advice, Jim.
It's kind of that's kind of one of the 101 basics in painting is to keep those paints thin.
Yeah.
Way better off putting on 3 or 4 coats.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, important lesson with paint always. 3 coats is always better than 3 thin coats is better than 1 thick coat. Easily. So
that's how people ask me, well, how do you get your skin tone so smooth?
Yeah.
Like, well, no real secrets to it. It's just, yeah, you got it.
It puts lotion on its skin.
He rubs the lotion in again. Also gets the hose again. Yeah, so Okay, so guys, we're starting to get to that point where I have to wrap it up because these men are also very busy. They have their lives, and some of them also need to sleep, and I need to unfortunately get back to work stuff. So we're gonna try and do this like once a month. This was obviously the experiment, and I think it's worked. I've just got to cut off a huge portion of the beginning. Yeah. So there's that. And then, how do you guys feel about once a month for now, as we do this? And I'm talking to everybody. I'm talking to Bart, Jim, and all the lovely people in the chat box.
I'm good for whatever.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Maybe so we can get, if people want to ask particular questions prior to us live streaming, and then we can maybe sort of incorporate certain topics into the next episode, sort of cover whatever people wanted or interested in sort of learning about. Be the actual customizing of figures. If people want to know how to sort of start from the basics of putting figures together and kit bashing figures, or whether it's a paint basics tutorial or
do like a topic-based episode.
Like a topic-based episode. Yeah, that'd be cool. And then if you guys like, if you want to, and I'm totally not opposed to this at all, but if you like are doing something in your studio and like you think it's useful, grab out your phone, record it, and then send it to me, and then I can make like a big mega cut of, or I can cut it up and make like a 2-minute or 3-minute tutorial out of it if you guys want. Unless of course you want to edit it on the phone yourself or something, and then just send it to me and I'll upload it to YouTube. That's something we can also look at doing. I like that idea, Jim. I like that idea a lot. I think for now I'm going to start posing those questions to the Patreon gang and to the G.I. Joeberg closed group. And then like asking guys like, what is the, what do they want? This episode's coming up. It's going to be on this date. What do you want to see? Like, and then try to get like a poll going or something for topics. Outback Stew wants to see, aside from just a wall, he wants to see zombie Outback. So I'm not sure if, which one's the most important right now. It is Halloween close. It's Halloween soon, so I suppose maybe something scary would be fun. But that's what I'm gonna do on my live stream. I think I'm gonna save scary stuff for the live stream. I'm just gonna do like scary G.I. Joe scary G.I. Joe stuff. Retro Joes are peg warmers. So here's a good piece of advice: if you want to customize figures, wait them out and wait for them to get cheap, and then you buy like a whole bunch of them, so that you can customize them. Don't be like your friend Fred, who's like selling them on eBay for 3 times the price. Buy them for customizing for it, because that's gonna be better for you. Chris, we hope to catch you on the next one, man. Thank you so much for joining us. Kato, thank you for joining us. To all of you sexy, awesome people, Outback Stew, Andrew Creech, all of you great people. Gaz, it's always cool to see you, man.
Cujo's out there. Cujo on the West Coast.
Yeah, I always see. I'm always talking to West Coast. So, but I'm actually glad that he joined us on the live stream. That's super cool of him. He wants to do like a bit of a Black Book live stream going forward as well. So I think what I want to try and do for the next episode is I want to take some of my classified toys and do some paintwork on them. I want to do some fixes on Roadblock. I think I'm going to go into depth onto how I do that, and I'm going to do that
It's
custom.
Roadblock.
The classified Roadblock. There's some paint details that I don't like.
Well, there's 2.
Oh, the proper one, not the repaint.
Oh, okay. The Cobra Island.
Not the Cobra Island one. I've got the normal one. Yeah, the first. This guy. This one. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, what I've been doing with mine is just little touches, not going real super crazy on them, because I like the figures. I just don't like some of the accents, like all that gold crap and the shin guards, and just little things to make it happier for me.
Okay, so let's do this. The next episode, I think let's do this. It's going to be classified centric, how to fix your classified figures. And then maybe if we ask Jim very nicely, he can do the idiot's guide to building a diorama for your classified figure. So like,
Okay.
if that's cool with you, man, that sounds good. If that excites you,
We can do a smaller version, something
yeah, like a
just a little stand.
yeah,
Jim,
yeah, something cool like that. Just to if you want to pose one of your favorite classified figures or something, and it'll just help
Jim.
the guys. Yeah. Who are we
you
gonna
think you
shoot?
can make a stripper pole for my Scarlet?
I don't know if I want to, but
What do you mean with those eyes?
The stripper pole.
I'm
yeah,
Scarlet.
dead inside.
Yeah.
I love being a stripper. Can you see it in my eyes?
Yeah. And I mean, we're not being demeaning because unfortunately Roadblock's also got dead stripper eyes.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
so that's
Maybe
something
he
I'd
just
like
had
to fix.
spicy food.
Yeah. So hopefully not hopefully, but when we do that, I'll have a capture card for my camera, so I'll have a higher resolution for the stream. And if that doesn't work, then what I'll do is I'll just do an early release of some of those tutorials for people, maybe, and then we'll take it from there. Anyway, guys, yeah, that's awesome with walls. Outbacks to you. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. And to everybody in the chat box, thank you for making episode 1 of Some Assembly Required a goodie, a winner. And when this thing gets a bit more momentum, I'm hoping we will do some cool stuff. And yeah, gentlemen, sound off as we head out the door. Starting with
Sport from America saying goodbye.
1/4.
Jim from Europe saying au revoir.
And yeah, cheers, guys. Berg.
Thanks.
But yeah, guys, seriously, peace, rock and roll, yo, Joe, and don't forget the love. And yeah, we'll see you next time. I will see you for a live stream, a live drawing stream, an art stream soon. And yeah, and then there's another video that'll be popping just now in the next 30 minutes. But yeah, that'll only show up tomorrow, so hold on tight for that one. Cool, guys. Thank you so much, and yeah, let me find the button. I'm gonna go and get up. I'm just going to put on the intermission Storm Shadow. Hold on. Hold on, I've got to do it like a stripper. I've got to bend his knees so that he's like, there we go. No. Okay, but he's hanging out there, like there we go. He's
You gotta do the Storm Shadow voice.
I am upside down.